go! The NFL is just 2 days away, and welcome to Prime Sports World. I'm your host, David On Point Hub. We got a full house of analysts and panelists on this episode of the Prime Sports World. We got Matthew James, we got from the Daily Blitz blog, Mr. Christian Simpson, and my usual co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to give you our Week 1 preview and predictions. There's enough about speculation, enough about previewing individual teams. Now we're getting down to action on the gridiron. Welcome into the show. Please like, share, subscribe to the podcast as we run basically daily content covering all things football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, you name it, we cover it. But yeah, let's talk about it. Hello, gentlemen. How hyped are you on a scale of 1 to 10? TJ.
Man, can we do this? We got stuff to do. Let's go.
All right.
See, man, David, I just wonder why you keep bringing his ass back. Why?
Man, TJ, my boy, dude. He can just But yeah, he's right, though. Let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk about opening night, which is just 2 nights away. We got the Baltimore Ravens going into Arrowhead and taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a rematch of the AFC Championship game, a game that was won by Kansas City, obviously, as they went on to hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy, beating the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 53. The last time these two teams played in the regular season, though, was all the way back in 2021. And, Christian, you're kind of like a textbook, whatever, encyclopedia when it comes to this kind of stuff. Do you know who won that game in 2021?
Yeah, Baltimore by a point, 36-35.
Yes, they did. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs by 1 freaking point. And
David, you know how I remember that because I previewed that one. So I think something about you already know.
No, we already know, Christian. You got the floor, my friend. Let's go. Let's see if we're in mid-season form.
David,
yeah.
You know what time it is. I need all y'all here. I need all y'all here, and then we'll do it all again. Super Bowl week. But ready? On my count.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 1.
Nah, man, you look at this matchup. I think this game is far more important for Baltimore than it is Kansas City because you're facing a team that eliminated you, but it wasn't the fact that they beat you. They beat you in the manner that you beat teams. Kansas City went into Baltimore and punched them in the mouth. I tell TJ this off the mic all the time. Kansas City went in there and they bullied the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, what more could you want in an opening game? The last 2 league MVPs. Derrick Henry's making his debut. It's banner night. It's Mahomes, Jackson, Kelsey, Taylor. I'm sorry. She's a part of the package deal now. I preview this one on Thursday, an hour before kickoff. Be on the lookout.
TJ.
I'm going with Baltimore, too. I'm like Christian to say who's going. I'm going with Baltimore. I just think that they gotta come out and prove something. I mean, it ain't gonna really matter because they didn't beat Kansas. If they beat them, they didn't beat them when they really wanted to. But I just think it kind of sets the what I'm looking for, like the current of what
President?
the current of what like Baltimore wants to be for this upcoming season. And what better way to do it than beating the champs on ring night?
I'm actually gonna agree with you, TJ. I'm actually gonna go Baltimore. I think they're gonna break out their shining new toy and Derrick Henry. I expect them to have a monster game on the ground, even though the run defense for Kansas City is pretty stout. But I'm gonna go Baltimore in a little mini upset, I guess technically. So they're gonna lose back-to-back years in ring night and probably end up winning the Vince Lombardi Trophy when it's all said and done. Matt.
I mean, the fact that you changed your minds last night on that. I'm going Baltimore to get the season started. I mean, I believe me and TJ both had them winning it all. So this will be that start to it. Going in there and, as we all said, proving something, punching Kansas City in the mouth on their home turf, ring night. Got Derrick Henry, having a nice game. I mean, he's not going to have huge games with Kansas City and a great run D there, but my runner-up MVP will get it done for them. Lamar will be the one to be the factor in this one. I got Baltimore.
Swinging into there, let's talk about Friday night football in Brazil as the Green Bay Packers go into Brazil and take on the quote-unquote home team, Philadelphia Eagles. This is the first time I can remember that the NFL started the season with a Friday night game. I actually don't remember how many Friday night games they even have done in the history of the league. That'd be an interesting stat that I will look up here in a minute. But we got Packers, we got Eagles. Jordan Love tries to build on his pretty strong second half of last season, and the Eagles try to bounce back, which was a pretty abysmal second half of last season. TJ, I'll let you have the floor first.
Give me Philly. Again, they got a shiny new toy that they want to show off. They healthy, and again, like you were 10-1 to start the season, and then you lose 5 of your last 6 games, and then you get your ass kicked in the wild card. You don't want that to be the lasting image. And Sirianni's on a hot seat, so yeah.
Just for fun, how many games do you think have been played on a Friday in the history of the league?
Including the playoffs?
Okay. I don't think they play. I don't think they play Friday games on playoff games on a Friday. That I can remember, anyways.
How many games total, or how many times on a Friday?
How many times has any team played on a Friday in the history of the league?
I don't know.
4?
Playoffs in that.
I mean, Christmas has to do with it somehow.
Before they had their Black Friday game in 2023, only 11 games have been played on a Friday
11.
since the NFL AFL merger. So 12 games in the history of the league since 1970 have been played on a Friday. So they're busting out all these Friday games. Anyways, Brazil problems aside, I'm gonna take the Green Bay Packers. I think I'm not really trusting this Philadelphia Eagles defense just yet. I got to see it, especially the revamped secondary for sure. See how they're going to tackle, see how they're going to play. I think Jordan Love is just going to build on what was a really strong second half. I'm going Green Bay. Matt.
Philadelphia.
Christian.
David.
Oh, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
you know what time it is.
I know what time it is.
On my count. 1, 2, 3. Shameless
plug number 2,
baby. The Eagles made that signing to get Saquon Barkley, and he comes into a better situation now because he was the focal point of the Giants offense. Now he's going into a situation where he has a better offensive line, other weapons that can kind of alleviate and take that pressure off of him, and he's playing with probably the best quarterback he has in his young career. In Jalen Hurts. Green Bay.
I know probably about that. That's
a fact. That's a fact. Green Bay on the other side. I want to see the ladder that Jordan Love is about to climb. They paid him. They gave him all that money. He and these young weapons have really built up some nice chemistry. And they have Josh Jacobs. So 2 running backs are making their debut. So I want to see who's going to have the better debut of the 2. I previewed this one on Friday. Be on the lookout.
And that's on dailyblitz.blog. That's where you can find all of Christian's previews and predictions on all things college and pro football. Moving on from there, let's talk about Sunday afternoon football because I'll be on the couch eating chicken wings, watching the first game, hopefully the first game, which will be Pittsburgh versus the Atlanta Falcons going into Mercedes-Benz Dome. They're in Atlanta. The new look Atlanta Falcons going up against the new look Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago, 12/04/2022. The Pittsburgh Steelers irked out the 3-point win over the Atlanta Falcons, but I do not think that's going to be a result this season. I think the Atlanta Falcons are for real. I think their defense is going to be for real. Give me Atlanta to win in a borderline blowout.
It's a borderline blowout.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
They're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree that, Atlanta should win this one pretty handily. they've got the better defense. Pittsburgh's quarterback situations, well, their whole offense is kind of a question right now and what they're doing. And I mean, control the clock with, solid run game. Get Kirk Cousins, rolling in there. Yeah, I got Atlanta in this one pretty easily.
TJ.
Yeah, give me Atlanta. I don't like how Pittsburgh handled the quarterback situation, like especially if you knew Russell Wilson was going to be the starter like the entire time, and especially like the reasoning behind it. They chose Russell Wilson based off of his basically his track record, like his career in the league and all that other stuff. Like they made it sound like Justin Fields still has a little growing up / maturing to do, and I guess they don't like how he kind of like gets on himself when he messes up, like throws a bad pass and all that other good stuff, and they like Russell Wilson's ability to just say, "Hey, next play, next play, next play, next play." But I just don't think offensively, I don't think they have enough to keep up with Atlanta.
Christian.
I'm going against all of you. I'm taking the Steelers here. I think that defense
I don't
is
hate
gonna.
it.
What you say? You talking out your neck?
I said I don't hate it. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm gonna deal with you after the show. No, I like the Steelers here. I think the Steelers defense is gonna be the difference maker here. Minka Fitzpatrick gets an interception. T.J. Watt gets a couple of sacks. Alex Highsmith gets a couple of sacks, and the Steelers, they're gonna control things with that running game. And I just think they're gonna win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I like Pittsburgh, and this is gonna be a mini home game.
Let's also not forget that like we haven't seen Kirk Cousins in this Atlanta Falcons offense yet, so I do think there's going to be some growing pains there in Atlanta for sure. And the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is probably not the defense you want to have growing pains against.
David, just come to the dark side.
No, I'm still taking Atlanta, but I just think that I could see this game getting interesting, even though I did predict the blowout, which it could be. Moving on, let's go Cardinals, Bills. The last time these two teams locked horns was almost 4 years ago. Arizona won. This is the DeAndre Hopkins.
It's the Hail Murray.
Yeah, this is the Hail Mary. Yeah, it's the DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary from Kyler Murray. Will history repeat itself, Christian?
No, it won't. And I know Buffalo lost two key pieces to the offense in Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, but here's where Buffalo kind of has an advantage, David. You don't know who to key in on as a defender. Do you key in on James Cook? Are you going to key in on Keon Coleman? Is it Dawson Kincaid? You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Buffalo, I think they can use that to their full advantage. And I just think Arizona, they're a couple of years away. I like Buffalo to start the year 1-0.
Start with my first lock of the week. I got two survivor picks this season. I decided not to get the third one. I'm going to go Buffalo as my lock of the week. Number one. I love the Buffalo Bills. As I talked about yesterday on the show, I think Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. If he could elevate those weapons around him and produce a good product on the field, Josh Allen, this is how it starts going up against the Arizona Cardinals. And the defense for Arizona, really not that good. So, yeah, give me Buffalo, my lock of the week. They should win this game handily. TJ.
Next game.
Matt.
Answer the question, boy.
He did answer. That's how TJ answers.
Buffalo. Easily.
Easily.
Yep.
Next game.
Moving on from there, we're going to swing into Chi-Town, and we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams making his professional debut against the Tennessee Titans. That's a preseason game. Hold on. Last time these two teams played was also 4 years ago. The Tennessee Titans won that game 24-17. Will history repeat itself? TJ.
No, Derrick Henry's not there. The one thing that could scare you about the Tennessee Titans is no longer there. And I remember that game 4 years ago because you watched a rookie Darnell Mooney absolutely lose his mind on a terrible offensive line because they couldn't, First off, I never understand how offensive linemen like false start. Y'all know the count. You know the count. You know when the quarterback set is gonna say height. That's literally part of the damn play. That's literally a part of. And Rashad Coward just kept false starting and false starting and false starting, and it was so infuriating. Give me the Bears in this one by about 2 touchdowns. And I know the Titans got DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. They got a nice
I
little
don't think
receiver.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to play in this game.
I ain't heard nothing about it. Like, is he still hurt?
He was banged up. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to play in this game or not. So
In the event, I ain't heard no. Let's just assume he is going to be there. I know they got DeAndre Hopkins, they got Calvin Ridley, but it's Will Levis throwing them the ball. I don't have a lot of faith in Will Levis. Give me the Bears.
I'm also going Chicago. I think Caleb Williams is gonna have a monster debut. This Titans defense leaves a lot to be desired. Caleb Williams should have a coming out party in the week 1 of the NFL. Even though the Titans have tried to retool this defense, obviously getting Latavius Sneed. They signed a bunch of guys as well, like Kenneth Murray from the Chargers, but none of those guys are really needle movers in my opinion. Give me the Bears. Matt James, who do you got? I'm ready to be shocked.
Not Tennessee. I'm going to take the Bears. I'm looking. I mean, obviously, all eyes are on Caleb Williams right now. I'm looking for the Bears defense to go in there and, shut this team down and prove they are a top 3 defense. First game home field against an offense that you should be able to handle pretty well. I know they've had their problems with Tony Pollard a time or two, but I mean, this is the time to prove, where your defense is. And I looked for them to hopefully only give up 1 score
Christian.
and win this pretty easily, obviously. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like the Bears. Next game.
Moving on from there, we're going to talk about the New England Patriots playing their first game in 20 years without Bill Belichick at the helm, going into Cincinnati and taking on those Bengals. Last time these two teams played was almost 2 years ago, and Cincinnati won that game 22-18. I think that'll be a similar result here, except I don't think it'll be as close. I expect Cincinnati with Joe Burrow healthy there. I'm not sure if Jamar Chase is going to play in this game. If I was a betting man, I would probably say he won't play. Cincinnati won't need him regardless, but Cincinnati should win this game handily and soundly. TJ.
Mm-hmm.
Matt.
I'm going Bengals, and if you want another lock, here's your team here. Look for Joe Burrow to have a big game coming back.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I forgot. This is my second lock of the week. I apologize.
Oh, all right.
Thanks for reminding me. But
Yep.
yeah, Christian.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like the Bengals, but Matt James knows where I'm going with this. The Bengals got to focus on what's in front of them because they have a huge game next week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Handle your business in this one in week 1, and that opponent will still be there in week 2.
Moving on from there, the grunge match between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC South. Obviously, this is a rematch of the final week of the regular season, a game that Houston won to move on into the playoffs and basically become the darling of the NFL after that. Basically, who knows what the narrative would be around Houston if they don't win that game against Indianapolis the final week of the season. I mean, maybe they don't trade for Stephon Diggs. Maybe they don't get to Neil Hunter. There's a lot of things that may be different now if Houston doesn't beat Indianapolis in the final week of the season. How do you think this game is going to shake out? I'll let Christian go first because I imagine this might be.
Nah, this one isn't.
No, all right.
Nah, but I like Houston in this one because the Colts still have an inconsistency to get after the passer. You saw that last year. Yeah, I know they drafted that kid from UCLA, Latu, I think is his last name. Yeah. I know they got him, but and then what are you gonna see from Anthony Richardson? Because he needs to play smart and he needs to play in control. They need him for more than the 4 games that he played last year. I just think across the board, Houston has too many weapons. You got to deal with Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Stephon Diggs. You got to deal with Joe Mixon out the backfield, and then the guy that stirs the entire drink, and C.J. Stroud. And I want to see what he does in year 2. I mean, because now there's going to be more tape on him, but I like Houston on the road.
The Colts have not won an opening game to open the season, a season opener, in 10 years. 10 years. It's been 10 years since the Colts won a week 1 game. I do not think their fortune will change this season either. I think the Houston Texans, as Christian mentioned, have too much. And I think C.J. Stroud is going to take a major, major step forward. And I actually think this Houston Texans defense is going to be incredible this season with the addition of Danielle Hunter, with that secondary they already had. Give me Houston to win this game. Matt James.
Yeah, I'm going to go Houston with this one. Indy, I mean, they're a solid team, but Houston's a step ahead of them. So give me Houston on the road.
Sweet.
TJ. Moving on from there, we got the Battle of Florida. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars going down to South Beach, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Last time these two teams locked up was almost 3 years ago, and the Jacksonville Jaguars won that game 23-22. Tua got paid. Trevor Lawrence got paid. How do you think this game's shaking out? TJ, I'll let you have the floor first.
Miami. In a close one.
Christian.
I like Miami. I don't know if Jacksonville has the secondary to keep up with either Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. I think they both have at least 125 yards receiving apiece. Give me Miami by 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, man! Wow, that is some disrespect right there.
I said a close one.
I'm gonna go.
Go ahead.
With the Battle of Florida, I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that I like what kind of some of the stuff they did this offseason. I like the way they handled their draft. Give me the Jaguars. Matt.
I'm going Miami at home in a close one. Just think they got too much firepower on offense to pull this one off late. So.
And TJ, you were about to make a point before I interrupted you.
No, you good. Go ahead.
All right, from there, the battle in the NFC South. We got the Carolina Panthers trying to bounce back, which was an abysmal season in 2023, going into the Bayou, taking on the New Orleans Saints. They had a winning record last season, but couldn't win the games that mattered. They're still rolling out Derek Carr for season number 2 as him as the starting quarterback. How do you guys see this game shaking out? Obviously, the last time they two played was last season. A game won by New Orleans, 28-6. I'll let Matt have the floor first.
Oh, Lord. I'm trying to find a way to say Carolina, but I'm going to go with New Orleans. I mean, being at home, Carolina still is a long ways off of being relevant. So I'm going to go New Orleans by a couple scores.
Yeah, I'm going to take New Orleans as well. I just haven't – I got to see. Like, I know, like, there are some like crazy like people who do like YouTube videos where they like mock the season through Madden, and they have like the Carolina Panthers making the playoffs and stuff, which just seems wild to me. I don't think that's going to be a thing. I'm going to take New Orleans to win this game, even though I don't have as much faith in New Orleans, and I know TJ has no faith in New Orleans going into the season, but I will take them to beat Carolina at least in week 1. This game's in.
A lot of faith in the Panthers either.
You take
this is a game. No, this is a game where both teams are losers. Like, watch this game end in a tie.
Christian.
The funny thing is, and I hate agreeing with TJ, he's not completely wrong. I could see this. Yeah, I really could see this, but the Saints in this instance are just a better team, and they're going to spoil Dave Canales' coaching debut. I like New Orleans at home.
To the final game of the early afternoon window, and it's Christian's New York Football Giants hosting the Minnesota Vikings. The last time these two teams played was in that playoff game where the Giants, everyone thought the Giants were going to be something. They beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-24. You pay Dan Jones, you franchise tag Saquon Barkley, and now the rest is, as they say, history. Christian, how do you think this game's shaking out? Minnesota, with Sam Darnold, we got the New York Giants still with Dan Jones under center for now until he gets hurt. How do you think this is going to shake out?
Listen, I don't trust Trojans. Giants all day.
Wow.
Giants all day. I said what I said.
TJ
said Giants too. Go to Matt. Yeah, you did.
Go on, Matt. I'm about to say Minnesota and not be very happy. Minnesota at 1-0.
I am taking
But
the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
I'm taking Minnesota. I am the Giants. No, I'm sorry, Christian. The Giants stink. They're just not a good football team. Right
I'm gonna deal with you after the show.
Davon Thibodeau is going to be the one.
As long as Dan Jones is still the starting quarterback of this team, you guys have no chance. As long as this offensive line continues to be abysmal, you guys have no shot at winning meaningful games in the NFL this season. You guys are going to win 3 games the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold might throw for a party. That's where y'all at.
Yeah. To the late afternoon window, we got the battle in the AFC West, if you want to call it a battle. We got the Gardner Minshew-led Las Vegas Raiders going into beautiful SoFi Stadium, taking on, I think Justin Herbert's going to play in this game. I haven't heard anything saying he won't. Obviously, the last time these two teams played, the Raiders put up 63 points on the Los Angeles Chargers and showed Brandon Staley the door. But I don't think that's going to way the game shakes out. I think Jim Harbaugh gets a victory in his first game as a head coach again for the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert also has a good game. And look for Joshua Palmer to have a fantastic game. If you're playing fantasy, you're playing daily, I think Joshua Palmer is a guy to roll the dice.
TJ, fantasy football.
But yes, so I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, David. I'm with you. The Chargers are actually one of my dark horse teams in the AFC. I think they can be a playoff team, a wild card team at that. I think the hire of Jim Harbaugh is going to be a blessing in disguise for Justin Herbert because Jim was a former quarterback. He's going to alleviate a lot of pressure off of Justin because they were expecting him to do everything. They're going to get back to running the football. When they selected Joe Alt at number 5 in the NFL draft, that told me all I needed to know. They're going to run that ball. They're going to control the line of scrimmage, and they want to win games in the trenches. And why not get the best offensive tackle in the NFL draft? 6'8", over 325 pounds, plays with a lot of reach and range, and he can do it all. I think this game comes down to a field goal. I'm going to take the Chargers.
TJ.
So this is Chargers and
Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Chargers. For all the things Christian said, I think that's the one thing Brandon Staley forgot how to do. And that's just hey, why don't I run the ball as opposed to keep throwing? And the one thing John Harbaugh knows how to do is run the damn ball. He gonna run that ball. He gonna do anything. He gonna run the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm going with the Chargers. They're going to run the ball and open up the pass game for Herbert, making it too much for Vegas, and they'll pull away in the second half.
Moving on now to Seattle, who are now hosting the Denver Broncos. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago in that game where, what was the name of the head coach they used to have? Nathaniel Hackett?
Denver?
Nathaniel Hackett refused to give Russell Wilson a shot on 4th down in the under 2 minutes. He rolled out his kicker. He missed the kick. Seattle wins the game in what was supposed to be a rematch game against Denver. I think kind of was just the era of Denver Bronco football with Russell Wilson under center. But now, Geno Smith is still the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Denver is now going to have Bo Nix as the starting quarterback here. The 12th man. TJ, who do you got in this game?
Yeah, you have Peyton Manning and Shannon Sharp on the Manning cast, timeout. Call timeout.
Yeah.
They were like screaming at the top of their lungs to call timeout, and I don't know why he thought that ball would travel like that. Like, bro,
I mean, they were in Seattle. They were not in Denver.
in Denver. That was just poor planning on his part. Give me Denver. Give me Denver. Sean Payton actually has a quarterback that he likes this go round. In Bo Nix, and yeah, give me Denver and a close one.
I'm gonna go Seattle. I just until I see Bo Nick. I mean, I know he was played really well in the preseason, but he was playing against mostly backups. I still have major questions about this wide receiving core outside of Cortland Sutton, and this offensive line. Frankly, if I'm being honest with you as well, I'll take Seattle, but I think this could go either way, and I think this game will be relatively close, and it probably will be pretty low scoring too as well. Christian.
I'm with you, David. I'm taking Seattle here. Part of me was thinking about taking Denver when I saw this game on the schedule originally, but I just think that 12th man and that defense is going to be improved under Mike McDonald. This is why they got him. Younger, defensive-minded guy to get that defense back to where it needs to be, because the last 3 or 4 years, Seattle's been abysmal on that side of the ball. They couldn't stop cyberbullying.
Dang.
Matt.
I'm going Seattle too. They just got too much offensively. That's been there, and you're gonna take Seattle at home.
To the next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys welcoming, or what was that? The Cleveland Browns, my apologies, are welcoming the Dallas Cowboys into their building. The last time these two teams played was 4 years ago. Christian, do you remember who won that game 4 years ago? Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, October 4th, 2022, or 2020, sorry.
Cleveland won. I just don't remember the score.
They won. They put up 49 points on the Dallas Cowboys and won the game 49-38. Christian, how do you think the 2024 version shakes out?
David.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Shameless plug number 3.
Here's the funny thing, you guys. The biggest storyline in this game isn't even coming on the field. You guys realize that? This is Tom Brady's broadcasting debut. He's going to be calling this game. We found this out in May, the week the schedules came out. But when I look at everything on the field, I see both teams are very similar with one another. Both have quarterbacks who are iffy, but I'd be leaning toward Dak Prescott over Deshaun Watson.
I don't think that's close.
Nah, it's really not. They both want to run. They both thrive on running the ball, and each of them has a star on the defensive side. Myles Garrett, he won Defensive Player of the Year last year, and then Micah Parsons. I think this is going to be a physical dogfight. It's going to come down to the last couple of minutes in the fourth quarter. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cleveland Browns. I think there's a lot of animosity going on with the Dallas Cowboys. I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday on the podcast, so we were doing kind of predicting the teams that are going to make the playoffs. But I think the Browns. I mean, let's see what Deshaun Watson looks like. But this is a team that has some talent on it. I mean, you're talking about Jerry Jeudy. You're talking about Amari Cooper. I know Nick Chubb's going to miss the first 4 weeks at least. But Jerome Ford's a pretty good running back. Like, he should be serviceable for this team. It's all really depends on how Deshaun Watson looks like. If he can get back to the form he had a few years ago, I mean, the sky is the limit for this Cleveland Browns team, given their defense. Give me Browns. TJ.
Yeah, give me the Browns. Like, you're just hoping Deshaun Watson is serviceable at this point.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, like, I understand the Cowboys went, like, they didn't do a lot of what people hoped for in the offseason. But for what it's worth, Dak Prescott was the runner-up to the MVP.
Yeah.
Like, quiet is kept. Like, Dak had a damn good season.
I mean, you can make the argument that, like, his numbers were superior to Lamar Jackson's and probably should have deserved to win the MVP.
Like,
I mean, if he hadn't gotten beat down in the game against the Ravens, where they played against each other, or whatever that game was towards the end of the season, and that basically was basically it for his MVP case, or down or 49 or something like that. Something happened towards the end of the season. He basically laid a dud against a really good team, and that was basically it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they lost to San Francisco 49-10, and then Lamar Jackson comes out, right? And they beat down San Francisco, where they basically run him out of the building, and that was basically all she wrote when it came to the playoff. Came to his opportunity for the MVP. Same thing when they lost to Buffalo as well, 31-10. Matt,
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going Dallas in this one. Just think they'll make a couple extra plays. I mean, CD Lamb. I mean, got paid now. He has to prove it. So, and I think he does on the road here against Cleveland. Give me Dallas in a close one.
moving on from there, the final game in the late afternoon window, we got the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels making his NFL debut, going into Tampa Bay, taking on Baker Mayfield and those Buccaneers at the Pirate Ship at Raymond James Stadium. These two teams played about 3 years ago. Washington Commanders actually won that game 29-19. But how do you see this game shaking out? Matt, I'll let you have the floor first.
I'm going to go with the Lions to win the rematch, just like they did.
This is Commanders, Buccaneers.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the screen. I'm going Tampa. Too many question marks with Washington, and Tampa wins it in the ship.
I'm also going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I also don't think this game will be all that close. This is still a pretty good defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's still a really good offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think the Washington have question marks, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And we'll see what Jaden McDaniels looks like in his first NFL start. Give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
TJ.
I'm with you guys. Oh, go ahead, TJ.
Bucks.
Yeah, I'm with you guys to close it out. I like Tampa Bay. I just don't see Washington having an answer for Mike Evans and any of those other weapons. And like you said, they're still pretty good on the defensive side as well.
To Sunday night football. We got the rematch of the divisional round in the NFC. We got the Los Angeles Rams going into Ford Field, taking on the Detroit Lions. Obviously, the last time these two teams played was in the divisional round. The Lions won that game 24-23. As you know, Stafford basically, the Lions basically sealed that game there. How do you see this one shaking out, the 2024 version? I guess the later 2024 version. Christian, I kind of have a feeling what's going to be happening here.
David, you already know what's happening. You already know. Let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Shameless plug number 4. Look, I enjoy everything about this game when they played in the playoffs, and it ended up being the final game of a future Hall of Famer's career in Aaron Donald. And here's the thing: the Rams, they know they can't replace Donald. It's gonna be a team effort. You just can't replace a future Hall of Fame caliber defensive tackle. I want to see what the Lions do against Puka Nacua this time around, because he tore them apart in that matchup. This should be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to it. I preview this one on Sunday, an hour before the game. Be on the lookout.
He is currently questionable. I don't know if that. I don't know what.
That man playing.
Pookie playing. Yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna take Detroit. I think that there's just too much momentum on the Detroit Lions right now. And I think the offensive line for the Rams also is kind of suspect, which is not a recipe for success when you're going up against Aiden Hutchinson and Houston, the other defensive end for the Lions. Give me the Lions to win this game. Matt.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm going to go Detroit in this one.
TJ.
Flip it.
Moving on to the final game. Moving on to the final game. We're going to be talking Monday Night Football. And I kind of miss when the NFL used to do 2 Monday Night Football games on the opening weekend. I don't know if maybe they just don't have the broadcast team to get that done right now or what. But I would rather have seen 2 Monday nights instead of a Friday night game, because I just don't enjoy Friday night games. Anyways, we got the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers going into San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers' childhood team, actually, the San Francisco 49ers. Last time these two teams played was 4 years ago, almost to the date. Christian, do you remember who won that game 4 years ago?
Not the Jets.
It was not the Jets. You're correct. San Francisco won that game 31-13 in MetLife Stadium. So
yeah, and I just remember that being the game when the 49ers lost Nick Bosa for the rest of the year. I think he tore his ACL in that game.
Maybe. Christian, how do you see this one? Check out.
Well, David, I think all of you, TJ knows, and I think all of you know as well. I'll be calling this game on Monday, so I'll stop by Prime on Monday a little bit before I jump on to call it. But when I look at this matchup, this is a tough test for the Jets right out the gates because all I know is if I'm a 49ers defender, I'm testing that Achilles out. I'm making Aaron run. I don't care. I'm testing his wheels early on. And the Jets still have some question marks. And on the offensive side of the ball, after Garrett Wilson, which other receiver do you trust? And don't you dare say Mike Williams because he can't stay healthy. The offensive line still has some question marks. And it just seems like if Garrett and Brees don't have it going, they're in for a long day. And San Francisco, they got all their contractual agreements out the way. They re-signed Brandon Ayuk. They extended Trent Williams. Now you can focus on defending that NFC title. Again, I will be calling this one. I'll give the link to David so he can promote it as well. And, of course, I'll promote it. But I like the 49ers in this one.
I'm going to go San Francisco as well. I think there's going to be there's still a lot of question marks when it comes to the Jets, when it comes to the offensive line, when it comes to this wide receiving core outside of Garrett Wilson. Obviously, I think the tight end room could use a lot of work. San Francisco, as Christian said, they shored up everything. They extended Trent Williams. They got Brandon Ayuk on board. Deebo Samuel is going to be there and healthy. Christian McCaffrey is healthy. This is going to be a 49ers team that's going to be a force, and it starts in week 1. Give me 49ers. TJ.
The 49ers, they got to make a statement. You know what I said when we did the Niners preview? Hey, this Kyle Shanahan can't get fired. The hell he can't. Kyle Shanahan's not on the hot seat. The hell he ain't. Y'all got to make some moves this season. And the contractual stuff is done, like Christian said, but I'm pretty sure nobody's happy about how that went down. Like that's beyond ridiculous of how they handled that. I understand Brandon Ayuk said in his presser today that he probably made it a little harder than it had to be. No, bro, that's your right. That is your right. Like, don't get your bread. Don't let these teams shortchange you. If you feel like you owe what you owe, then stand on that. Stand on business. I hate that he said I made it harder than it had to be. No, you didn't. That's your bread.
TJ, you know where he needs to go for saying that.
The grandma house, bro. He don't get grandma cooking like for saying that.
Nah, TJ. He has to go to the grandmother's house that's like in her 30s. Because, when the grandmas that are older cook, there's struggle and there's pain in that food. You heard?
You feel me?
Before this goes completely off the rails, Matt.
Now, David, would it be a show if me and TJ weren't preaching our gospel?
No, it wouldn't be. Mr. Matthew James, you have the floor, my friend.
I'm going to take San Fran at home. It's going to be a nice tight battle, which will end up end our week 1 on Monday night here. So excited for this one. So it is our only football game that night. I'm going San Fran. They control the clock and hold on to this one late in the game.
And thank you very much. That was our 24-25 Week 1 preview and predictions. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we continue bringing you guys quality NFL content, including tomorrow where we're going to do Fantasy Football Weekly. You don't want to miss any of that stuff. We're going to help you set your lineup for week number 1 so you're ready to go. I'm David Huffman, Matt James from the DailyBlitz.blog, Christian Simpson, and my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat, baby.
Yes, sir.
And I'm so glad Matt James is back, man. We glad you feeling better, man. Like,
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's great to be back and excited for this upcoming season of football. So let's get it, guys.
Let's go. We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night and stay safe out there. Prime Sports World out. Peace out, gentlemen.
Peace, guys.